Greetings, St. Barnabas members and friends. So, I want to offer a little bit more about forgiveness in the Lord's Prayer. So, in the last reflection, I referenced the 4th century desert father Evagrius Ponticus, who said, "It's not okay to be annoyed with your sister or brother." And in much of what I've commented on with respect to the theme of forgiveness in the Lord's Prayer, I've taken it further than just about someone having wronged us to how it is that we make room for one another and how it is that we can see one another as God's beloved. And so, and I previously said that, again, that the Lord's Prayer is at the center of the Sermon on the Mount, and then several places in the Sermon on the Mount, I think Jesus addresses this theme of forgiveness and of making room for one another. So in his teaching on anger, he said, "You've heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit murder.' But I say to you, whoever is angry with their sister or brother in their heart has committed murder in their heart. And whoever says, 'You fool,' and we could paraphrase that to 'you featherbrain,' or whoever says, 'Oh, you foolish one,' that could be guilty before the courts." And so he's really inviting us to think differently about our relationships with people. And immediately after that, he says, "So therefore, if you're presenting your gift before the altar, that is, if you're engaged in one of the most significant spiritual activities in relationship with your God, and there remember that your sister or brother has something against you, not you against them, but they think that or you recall that they have something against you, leave your gift and go be reconciled with your sister or brother." And that word reconciled means be restored to harmony with your sister or brother. Go from foe to friend. Go from anger to friendliness. Make a new friend. Then come back and offer your gift before the altar. Then he goes on to say, "Make friends with your adversary quickly, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge and the judge throw you into the prison and you not come out of there until you've paid the last penny." So now there's lots of ways to exegete these passages. And in one regard, in the tradition, if you ask yourself, who is the adversary in that teaching? What if the adversary is yourself? Make friends with your adversary quickly. That is, when you yourself realize somebody has something against you, and that starts springing up into your mind and into your heart, coming perhaps from your conscience. Make friends quickly with that adversary, because if you don't, it will eat on you. Your conscience will not let it go, and it will cast you into a prison. And what it's trying to tell you is that if there is anyone with whom you are not in harmony, you are out of sync with your Heavenly Father's will for you. Pause for just a moment. St. Paul says it this way: "As much as it lies within you, as much it is up to you, be at peace with all people." Another place he says, "Don't let the sun go down on your anger." In the in the Beatitudes, which, by the way, are also a roadmap for the spiritual journey. I've said the Lord's Prayer is a roadmap or a guide for the spiritual journey. The Beatitudes are as well, and it's very interesting how the Beatitudes and the Lord's Prayer mirror one another. They come at this map for the journey in a different way. It's almost like saying they get us to the same destination from a slightly different starting place. So I digress. I don't want to go into the Beatitudes right now, but they end with, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted and insulted, and all manner of things are said against them falsely. You are the children of God who can make peace in those circumstances." Remember, in the last reflection, Jesus said, "Be like your Father, whose sun rises on the just and the unjust, whose rain falls on the wicked and the righteous. Be like your Father, be perfect like your Heavenly Father." So we're called to make peace. We're called to be peacemakers. We're called to be at peace. And there's an interesting thing about being in disharmony, or having anger that we're not dealing with, or having relationships that are broken that we're not dealing with. It's not possible for that not to fester and then come out in different ways and in different settings and circumstances. Now, as I've also said repeatedly, and it's the reason I think this teaching on forgiveness really takes center stage in the Lord's Prayer. It's because to take it seriously will change us. To take it seriously will drive us back to our God again and again and again. And again, as the way the Lord's Prayer frames it, enter into relationship with this God who is near to you. Throw yourself upon God, asking for God's help. Lord, Abba, you hallow the name in me. You bring your kingdom. You make your will happen. I don't know how to make peace with everyone. It transforms us. And as I've said, I'm going to say it again, I've said repeatedly, it opens us. That prayer opens us to the fruits of the Spirit that are already in us. It opens us to our own gifts for ministry and service. And I commented that there's another theme of the supernatural fruit of the Spirit, and that is the theme of wisdom. As we take this journey seriously, as we make room for all people, as we live at peace with all people, as we take the initiative to be reconciled with all people, a wisdom opens for us. As the fruits of the Spirit mature in us, as our gifts for ministry send us into the world to do God's work, and as we encounter people that annoy us and invite us to see ourselves as the one who is annoyed rather than see them as annoying. As we work through our anger and be at peace with all people, it changes us. There is a wisdom of the Spirit that can emerge. And I look forward to reflecting on that in upcoming reflections. As much as it lies within you, be at peace with all people. Peace to you.